Shadow Temple of the Zeldathon and F Crew teams back here with more Citizen Sleeper 2. A game that we started up on Tuesday, and I'm going to tell you, had a stressful yet extraordinarily delightful time with. And I'm excited to continue our adventures in it here tonight. If you were not there on Tuesday's stream, let me catch you up a little bit about what's going on. Actually, you know what? Before we even do anything else, why don't I bring up the game? I can kind of set the mood and the tone that way. I think it would be a little bit better than if I just tried to talk about it the whole time. But it's been good. You know nothing about this game? Glad you picked to let the hacker memory dump. Did you went and watched the VOD then, MJ Evans? That's all, because all you, if you watch the VOD, you now know as much as I do. Just to be clear, just to be clear, I don't know a significant more amount of information than you do about this particular thing. Interesting that my camera is brighter than normal. I'm gonna see if I can bring that down a little bit. I just don't want my head too shiny. That's more of the vibe I'm looking for, especially with this game, where we're floating out in space. Uh-oh, cunning. Anyway, hello, Princess Christy and Miss and Cunning and Skylene and Hop and MJ Evans. Yeah, no, then you're caught up as much as I am. Darth, hello to Robin. Bluna Wolf, hi, and also it is currently 8:38 U.S. Central Time PM for me. Thank you for asking. Hello, Vera and Daquan, and let's see here, who else we got coming in here? Twister, of course, hello, and Teddy Bear Bree, hello. You said it in Dome, and that's the danger. They're much Darth exhausted for the 58 months at tier 3, no less. That is fantastic. Thank you. How am I? First time made on my stream? Well, welcome. What was the name of the song that I opened the stream with? That was a song. Here, let me go grab it. I think it's called Half Age, but let me double check. Yeah, it's called Half Age by an artist named Weeval. Spelled W-E-V-A-L. It was the way that I know about the song and the rest of that soundtrack is because it was built off of an indie game that I'm actually very much I very much think of when I play Citizen Sleeper. It is far less polished, but it has similar vibes in that you are a bunch of astronauts trying to solve problems with a ship that is exploding in space that you need to figure out how to save, and you have very limited resources to do so. Pretty similar vibe on that. Weeval, so W-E-V-A-L as opposed to E-L, but yes. And from their EP, Half Age, the song Half Age. Yeah, so let me catch you up here on Citizen Sleeper 2, friends. Actually, let me take some pills, and then I will. One pill, actually. That's right, friends. Here on the Shadow Temple channel, we love taking drugs. Specifically, drugs that make enchiladas hurt a little bit less. Yeah, welcome to Citizen Sleeper 2, friends. This is a sci-fi survival RPG game. RPG game, I guess, is like saying ATM machine, but I digress. You are a sleeper, a robot, an android, an emulated mind of a real-life human caught slumbering in a corporate-induced coma whose copy of their brain lives inside of a robot deemed expendable for hard, terrible, dangerous labor. And so you as a sleeper lead a miserable life, akin to corporate enslavement. Not having any new prospects or futures, you are there simply to work. Some sleepers decide that that life is not a life worth living. And so some attempt to escape the corporations that make them. You, specifically, are an android of the S&ARP Corporation and manage to hitchhike aboard some derelict ship or hire some sort of space coyote to help you find freedom, find escape, find a life independent of the servitude that you have been enslaved to through no choice or fault of your own. And so in this game, we have been apparently a sleeper escaping S&ARP for some time. We, along with a friend whose name presently escapes me, we're both under the employ instead of a gangster. Of the leader of a very powerful gang on a particular space station, who apparently you did some work for. And in exchange, they helped you survive. They solved a problem that all sleepers have, which is this issue that your body, as long as it stays away from the company that made you, is constantly falling apart. It's by design. Your body is not meant to survive outside of the corporate stronghold. And so you need to find ways, at least in the first game, you had to find ways to stabilize your body from further decay in order to continue your survival. This gang leader actually managed to figure out how to solve that problem for you, along with your good friend. But through some sort of higgledy-piggledy, which we've not actually explored much yet, you had your brain partially reset, and all of your memories prior to the events of Citizen Sleeper 2 here have been erased. You don't remember your friend, even though they very much remember you. You don't remember this now very villainous gang leader who is now trying to chase you down as you and your friend have made your escape off of the first space station and on aboard a ship. What do we call it? There's a name for it. The frigate, the freight, the rig. That's the name. It's the rig. The rig actually is down below me right now. We managed to fly to another space station called, I think it was like Hexage or something like that. We worked there for some time, trying to kind of build up our stature and, make some money and do some work. Met some friends along the way. And we found out that our original owner, let's say, not S&ARP, but this gang leader, is chasing us through space. He has found us. And we managed to get our ship repaired and sent off into deep space right before, A, he had been able to find us, and B, the station that we were on, with tens of thousands of people aboard, exploded, destroying the entire station in spectacular fashion, and potentially most of the lives on board as well. Our ship barely managed to escape the explosion, being torn asunder and flung into space without a direction or without any sort of ability of control. Eventually, we get picked up by a wayward spacer through a distress beacon granted by our new hacker friend, who then led us to a new station. And that is where we're waking up here tonight. So, without any further ado, let's get ourselves back into Citizen Sleeper 2. Very much, by the way, Mama Blackwing for the 32 months. Yeah, 32 months. Yes, forced obsolescence in a video game. They literally say forced obsolescence. That happens, of course, friends, with things like your cell phone. Your cell phone is not really designed to survive more than about 3-4 years. The battery won't be able to manage it. The processing power isn't very good. In fact, Apple has been caught lowering the speed of your processor as time goes on, ostensibly to extend the battery life of your phone, but practically making you think your phone is too old to do the things you need it to do. That's a minor inconvenience and maybe a little bit of like a when it comes to cellular devices. But if it's your body that we're talking about and some non-godlike entity has decided forced obsolescence is the best plan for it, it doesn't feel very good. Do you think Minor Demon Season 2 is coming out one day? Maybe. Possibly. I don't know. I would say just keep putting on the pressure. I don't really have any information that you do or that you don't. I wish I did. I wish I had something I could tell you, but as of right now, I cannot. You could go look. They could go click on it, but they're not going to click on it, so it's fine. How is this remedied? What the ship getting knocked out of orbit? Bliss, a new friend, managed to pick us off, drag our ship over to the station here, and brought us to a new space. I can't remember what the name of the station is, but we'll figure it out as we go. This is the rig. Hexport's demise has put a barrier between Darkseid and the far spindle. Lane can't follow, so for now you're safe. Oh, for 6 cycles, we are not going to be chased by Lane, who's the big bad in this right now. Do not pressure out. No. I'm not saying like go to her house and throw a rock through it with minor demons written on it. I'm talking like, fan demand shows what the fans are interested in. Does that make sense? You like put in the right in the comments. Make sure you keep pressing on that if you really want to see it. That's a good way to get that interest known. Because if you don't say anything, then nobody knows that you want it, right? Did I also recap the last station on exploded? Yes, I did. Let's see here. We could still sleep in the rig bunks at least. So that's our kind of main base of operations there. So how this game works practically, I kind of explained all the flowery bits to you. At the beginning of each day or cycle, as they call it in this game, you are given dice. These 5 dice at the very top have different or rolled with different numbers each day, right? And you can then use those dice to try and decide how to run your day. At the bottom here, we have money that we earn over time. We have ourselves fuel and supplies. We need to earn those things in order to continue to do work and survive. We also need to keep ourselves fed, which is this bar up here. Currently, we're fully fed, but, could be a thing. So each time we wander into a space like the Spindle Core here, we have different opportunities to do essentially, if you ever played Dungeons & Dragons or something like that, do a check, right? So in this case, we want to explore the core and see what's going on in this place. Maybe find some work, maybe find an opportunity to earn something or buy something. And so we need to do some exploration. If I put in a die in here, let's say I put this 3, right? Middle of the road. The game tells me that by using a 3 here, I have a 25% chance of having a positive outcome, a 50% chance of a neutral outcome, and a 25% chance of a negative or bad outcome. If I put in a lower number, that chance of a positive outcome disappears, and all I have is neutral or negative. If I put in a higher number, then the chances of a positive outcome increase, all the way up to 6, where it is a guaranteed success. So there you go. Very much, Lady MJ, for the 17 months, by the way. Get those dump votes in chat, please, and thank you. That's very kind. Lurking just says that you don't wish to speak in chat anymore, but you're still watching, which is a perfectly acceptable way to watch things on Twitch. And VODs, of course. We love our VOD viewers, as always. I don't say it often enough anymore. Okay, so we have the opportunity to kind of explore the core. Let's look at the docks. We could explore the various docks here and see what the Pinnacle has. That seems like a place we could get some work. You'll also notice that each of these have like different symbols to them. Endure and interface, for example. Those just indicate different skills that we can use to try to do these particular like checks. The different skills are as follows here. I am always going to be bad at engage. That's just the class that I have. We just do not engage. But I'm very good at engineering, and I'm just okay at interface, endure, and intuit, which means that I'm not losing any points whenever I roll. But as an engineer, I actually gain points by rolling on any engineer checks. So instead of like a 4 here, I could put it in and become a 5, which is pretty cool, if I do say so myself. Let's check out the underhang. Life beneath. Many residents of the far spindle live in the ramshackle underhang. It's not an easy place to learn to navigate. Here would be a good place for me to do some engineering work, because I got some pretty bad rolls here, and it might be a handy thing to kind of burn a couple of those and get some extra points that way. Let's look at Bliss's Bay. So Bliss right now is repairing the rig. Bliss is just a very nice, non-gendered individual who has decided to help us out. We're paying them, but, you know, that's mostly because we want to make sure they can keep doing the things that they're doing. We probably could have bullied them into not getting paid for this, but we don't want that. Okay, we have some pretty terrible rolls, but I'm going to take this 4. I'm going to put it in here, and it becomes a 5 because engineering for me is good. And just like that, I now have a 50% chance of a positive outcome and a 50% chance of a neutral outcome. Neutral is still good. It just isn't as good as it could be, just to be clear. It was a positive outcome, in fact. I got to explore a little bit and help the residents. You help a family unit with urgent repairs, and as thanks, they feed you and answer all your questions about the underhang. I actually gained some health, which was pretty nice. Nemba's Kitchen, I found. Earn a meal. Nemba's Kitchen serves those that can't work in the underhang, but able-bodied visitors like you have to work a kitchen shift to get to eat. Nemba's too busy to spend too much time with everyone in the kitchen, but he does notice those who do good work. Okay, so that is a situation where I could do some work and earn some food in exchange. And it sounds like if I keep hanging out and doing work there and getting fed, that eventually Senpai Nemba will notice me, if you will. All right, let's keep helping the residents here, see if we can get going. See, that was a negative outcome. I still got a point up, but I lost some energy here as a result, which I actually did deliberately. You go door to door offering repairs, but all you get are suspicious looks and a tiring tour of the units. That wasn't very painful other than losing some energy, so I'm going to put in one of these glitched dice. This is new to me. We need to do at least one glitch die in order to remove the glitch point that we currently have on ourselves. Glitches ensure that you're stuck at a 1 roll. What? How did that? So what? Why? I don't understand. That's not how it was supposed to work. That was supposed to be bad. I thought it was a 20% neutral chance. It was a 20% positive chance? Wow. I guess I could do it again and find out what that did. You rolled that 20%! Sealing shift. Most of the far spindle workers don't like going out to seal new units, so they leave that tiring and dangerous work for outsiders. So that sounds like some work I could do in exchange for getting some money my way. Let's toss another one in here. I think we could get the Life Beneath finished this way, which I think is worthwhile. I thought I was supposed to burn those dice in order to get my glitch stat removed. I thought that was like part of how how that whole thing worked. But I guess not. Scrapper ship. I could buy some scrap components, which is interesting to me. Yeah, let's see if we can we can earn a little bit here. Neutral outcome. I lost some energy, but I gained there's some cryo in exchange. Getting done tutoring today. How are the steps? I am currently at 9,347 steps. So, doing well. And I'm drinking some vanilla caramel black tea, which is pretty good. I like it a lot. All right, I burned all my dice. There's nothing left for me to do. It is time to return to bed. Oh, the glitch counters are removed when the die shows up. So I still have one more glitch die awaiting me here. Is what I'm hearing. Yep, there we go. Now all the glitch dice are gone. I see how this works. So I do need to... Well, I guess I just burn the dice otherwise, is how that works. But that's okay. So I'm going to work for some food at Nemba's Kitchen here. It seems like a safe enough place, so let's throw our glitch die at it and just kind of go for it. Negative outcome, I still got some energy. You annoy one of the chefs and they saddle you loading the auto wash. By the time you're done, there isn't much food left. I got a little bit of energy. I didn't get a ton, but I did that intentionally so I could keep moving forward. Because I want to explore other sections of the spire here, the spindle, as they're calling it. Let's check out the spindle core and explore this and see what's awaiting us here. So in this case here, I'm going to put a 5 into exploring the core. That should get me either positive or neutral. Positive. So there we go. You start to understand the radial nature of the core and the territories of the different crews within that. And I unlocked Gaia's, what was it? Gaia's Gyre, a kelp-centric bar. Rack is a seaweed-based liquor with a powerful saline taste. Gaia's Gyre has a reputation for serving it neat and strong. Getting racked. The freelancers of the Far Spindle seem cagey, but spend enough time at the local bar and they'll warm up to you. All right. I'll toss in a little bit. Let's see how that plays. I got a little energy. I got some racked. Let's do it again. Sweet. Just like that, I'm nice and healthy again. Let's keep working on the on exploring the core here. We want to learn more about our environment. Hey, a positive outcome once again. And because of that, we uncovered another spot. And this now, we've now found the place that we can go to purchase supplies and fuel if we need to. That's right. You don't even have the stores unlocked from the start. You have to go and explore the station in order to find where the stores are, which is very tabletop RPG, very Dungeons and Dragons, which I'm using as shorthand for people who don't know TTRPGs otherwise. I also like that. I like the idea that it's not assumed you just are immediately pestered with the stores that you might need. All right, let's keep working on getting to learn more about the spindle core. I think if we get another positive here. Yeah! Oh, I got so lucky. And so whenever we finish one of those kind of circles on the bottom of the screen like you saw there, the story progresses. So we're going to find out what's happening here. The Far Spindle lives up to its name, its tall stature making it a real effort to travel from end to end. The local solution to this problem are the transit tunnels, massive tubes bolted onto the outside of the spindle that allow for rapid passage from bottom to top. As you find yourself in one of these cavernous passages, bulky cargo haulers rushing by, you start to wonder if braving them is worth the effort. Back up! The shout rattles down the bare transit corridor like a gunshot and is rapidly followed by a crunching impact. You spin back, pushing yourself against the side of the wide cylindrical passage. As you do, a hauler glides past, sending a rippling wave of air across you in its wake. Wow, look at this fella. When the roar subsides, you hear a string of expletives coming from nearby. A spiky-looking figure clutching some oddly shaped open frame object, gestures wildly at the vehicle as it glides away. Dickhead! She spits an impressive glob of saliva down the tunnel and it spirals in 0G. She turns to you in her anger. You see that? Tried to slam me into the wall! Total dickhead. She nods firmly. No shit! Haulers hate us! She sniffs and looks at you up and down. Not supposed to be in the transit system without a vehicle. She squints. Not like I care, but maybe you do. What about you? She shakes the open frame in her hand. What does this look like to you? She rolls one of her shoulders, stretching it out. You're new here, right? Is it that obvious? She shrugs sympathetically. Nothing to be ashamed of. Let me give you a tip. She begins checking her open frame vehicle, tightening bolts and untangling pipes. Avoid the haulers. Dickheads, a lot of them. Especially the water haulers. Think they're better than anyone. Don't mess with the Steve doors, though. They're good people. Get treated like shit by everyone else, just like us. She rapidly plugs and unplugs a series of connectors. They'll show you the shortcuts. She looks up. And never, ever get in a Spindlejack's way. She smiles, spinning the vehicle in her hand. Thanks. Have yourself a good night, Blue Wolf. She nods. All right, then. She pauses, considering something. Then suddenly she reaches into one of her many pockets and pulls out a small transparent rectangle punched with holes. Text glints within it, reading Kadet, Stripline Express. You take it.
Kadet.
She flexes proudly.
That's me. Stripline is my outfit. Kamal's the dispatcher. Small outfit, but we punch above our weight. Dispatch is here in the spindle's core, but I run the transit tunnels up and down the spindle 10 times a cycle. You need anything moving on the spindle? Data, tech, messages too hot for the hardline? Come find me.
I'll do that. She nods.
Tell him I sent you. They'll make sure it gets to me.
She kicks off the wall and mounts her bike, triggering a small burst of compressed air to keep herself steady in the transit passage. You hear a buzz of distorted speech from what you assume is her dispatcher. Kadet angles her head to her communicator and mutters back into it.
Gotta hop, sleeper.
She looks over at you and something flickers in her eye. An idea? Or perhaps just a realization.
Might be able to help you with something. Package that's been bothering me.
She squints down the passage.
Come to the office at Stripline in a few cycles and I'll show you.
Sure.
We'll call it a favor on account of me saving you from being flattened by a hauler.
She winks.
Now you better get out of here before another hauler tries to squish you.
Before you step back as she twists the handlebars, and a burst of air sends her flying down the transit corridor at an unsettling speed. Hello, Styx. How you doing? That's pretty cool, Petco. Kelp beer also does sound interesting, ZMIs. I'd give it a try. You watch her go, slightly caught off guard by her final remarks. What would a courier need you for? You turn the idea over in your head as you find a way out of the transit corridor back to the safety of the main concourse.
Wow, I made a new friend
Who doesn't want to talk to me for 2 days. That's fine. That's cool. That's chill. That's great. It's great, in fact. All right, so we've explored the core, we've explored the underbelly, and now we need to explore the very tippy top. The spindle. The pinnacle of the spindle. We're going to toss it into studying the manifests and see what we can get. Positive outcome! Wow, we've really been rocking it here. I'm feeling pretty good about all this. As you glide through the pinnacle docks, you hear shouting echoing down a corridor. You tentatively change direction, your eyes fixed ahead as the passage widens out into a large bay. Others rush past you, heading towards the commotion. Your eyes are drawn by the bay's vast viewing window, which is currently being spattered with glittering shards of ice. In front of it, a dock worker is shouting to anyone who will listen. Spacers! Workers of the far spindle, we need your urgent assistance! The water carrier Springtide has suffered heavy damage in its transit from Wellspring! He takes a breath. You're liking your rolls. I know, it's good. All able hands, we need you to help secure the cargo! Without this water, far spindle will struggle to support you! He looks desperately at the crowd. Please, anyone able to help, please make yourself known! Behind him, a corona of ice ejects from one of the tanks, drawing a pale halo around the ship. A handful of experienced-looking spacers push through the crowd towards the front, and dock workers start to direct them to nearby bridges. You watch the scene unfold, hesitant in the face of making someone else's problem your own. Hey, I would love nothing more than help, but I just burned all of my dice, my dudes. I'm so sorry. I have nothing. But I can help out when I go to bed. So I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to come back, and I can help out that issue. I already burned today's dice. There's nothing to it. But they got 5-6 days before they need me, so it'll turn out great. You awake to the sound of blaring proximity alarms. You quickly unstrap from your bunk and dizzily glance around. Lane? Bounty hunters? You kick off and glide to the door. As you do, Bliss pops their head around the corner.
Sorry.
They look a little sheepish.
In all honesty, it's not my fault. Your wiring's all backward.
It takes a moment for you to understand what's happening. You steady yourself against the doorframe. Sorry, just a little jumpy.
I get it.
Bliss looks down.
Didn't mean to wake you.
It takes you a while to get ready and drift down to the mess to see what's happening. By then, Bliss has turned off the alarms. You find them unspooling wires from a hatch you never previously noticed in the mess's ceiling.
Sorry again, sleeper.
Their voice comes through the ceiling panels, muffled and dull. Hey, Zelda fan, how you doing? You settle at the stool, neatly tucking your legs behind the crossbar. How are you doing?
Me?
Bliss's muffled voice echoes around the room.
I'm working.
A pause.
Helps keep my mind off things.
What things? Bliss spins deftly, hooking their legs into the open ceilings so that from your perspective, they are hanging upside down. If it's not clear, by the way, friends, all this is happening in 0G. There's, for whatever reason, these various spaces don't really have any need to be operating in anything other than 0G. And so everybody is just operating in that sort of way. That transit tunnel they were talking about is literally just a tube filled with oxygen that they're zipping through. And Kadet's air bike is essentially what would happen if you took a scuba tank and blew air out of it from time to time, and she can control that well enough to blast her way down that hall. What do they deal with the bone density loss? I think they don't. Not the working class, at least. They give you a look.
Do you really want to know?
A yawning Seraphim drifts in. This is, by the way, our friend from the very beginning. He looks between the two of you, amused.
What are you both doing up so early?
You and Bliss exchange amused looks.
What?
Seraphim asks. You didn't hear the alarm? He shrugs.
Heavy sleeper.
He drifts over the mess's cupboards to hunt for some breakfast. You turn back to Bliss, but they have disappeared back into the ceiling panels. Before long, the mess is filled with the shrill screech of a power tool. Seraphim looks totally unaffected and hooks himself onto a stool, lazily sucking at a ration pouch while he taps away at his slate. The screech finally stops. After a while, you kick off from your stool. Time to head out. Bliss rushes after you, stopping you in the passageway before you can leave.
I have something I want to show you.
Bliss leads you off the main corridor into a corner of the ship you don't remember visiting before. You come into a room with low, sloped ceilings, a single round window illuminating some neat tool storage, and a workbench set into the wall.
Look,
Bliss begins.
I'm no specialist, but I'm a quick learner and good at repairs.
They smile.
And I think you have need of me.
They glance at you, a tear in the thick vinyl skin of your arm.
Can I take a look?
Okay. They smile and lead you towards the workbench. They turn your arm, looking at the tear from all angles. They reach over to the workbench and take a small sealant gun from the rack. You look at the setup. It's basic, but looks clean and well organized. They gently close the tear with sealant, pressing the edges together so it closes up neatly. After they are done, they release your arm and you can barely see the scar. Bliss admires their work.
See?
They smile.
I know it's more serious than a tear.
Bliss folds their arms.
But I can handle it.
They turn and search through a set of metal drawers for a moment.
Here.
They produce a couple of carefully machined, pristine components.
I was saving these for an important job. They wink. Guess I just found it.
Bliss pushes the components into your hands.
Take them. When you're ready, come here and I'll fix you up. These are a rare find, though. In future, you may have to make do with something lower quality.
They wince.
You can find scrap components at most scrapper ships, like that one that's hanging around the underhang. The better the components, the easier they'll integrate with your system.
Bliss leans on the workbench.
I'll do my best to keep you running.
Why help me?
You're a guest in my bay. I can't have my guest's bodies collapsing now, can I? Plus, I think it benefits me if you think of me as indispensable.
Bliss smiles.
I should get back to fixing the ship.
They leave you in the workshop among the simple tools, considering the particular qualities of your new friend. We can get ourselves fixed? That'd be very nice, because our dice have taken a couple of shots over the course of some time here. You can repair your dice at the Rig Workshop. You can only repair dice which are fully broken. Repairs require either scrap components or rare components. The better components you use, the less glitches you will suffer. You cannot repair dice during a contract. Gotcha. So the trick here is that my dice are damaged, but they're not so damaged that I can fix them yet. These 3 dice need a little bit more damage before I can get in there and start kind of messing with them again. All right, let's see if we can help with the spring tide here. Looks like we can get a full 6 on here. So this is it sounds like a water ship that was delivering water to this space station, but instead crashed. And they're trying to clean it up and seal up the ship. Let's get in there. Yeah! You instruct one of the crew to use a hull plate to shield you from the ice while you work, and you get the leak sealed fast. Let's do it again. Hey, Draco, how you doing? Oh, we're close, friends. We're close. It is water floating around there, by the way. Yeah, it's kind of fun, isn't it? So I was doing dangerous jobs there. I'm going to try to reroute the flow here so I don't take serious damage if I fail. You managed to start shifting the water from a damaged tank to a more stable one using filtration systems. If we put one more dice into this, we get at least a neutral success. No! You struggle with the ornate systems of the ship, but the security countermeasures keep you from rerouting. Dang it! Come on. I want to get this done. Oh! Oh, that hurts! I'm gonna go drink at the bar. I'm gonna go get a drink. Two drinks, actually. There we go. The Far Spindle is an exhausting place to find freelancers. There's no shortage of spacers here. The corridors and bays throng with crew inbound and outbound, on or between contracts, trading stories, contacts, and materials. But whatever language, appearance, or code identifies someone as worth signing on with, you don't seem to have it. Perhaps it is because you're a new face or are noticeably unsure. Or perhaps it is just because you're a sleeper. You push that thought into the back of your mind and instead focus on what's in front of you, the vast cylindrical tank at the center of Gaia's Gyre. The first time you entered the bar, you floated open-mouthed, much like all the new arrivals do at the sight of the huge kelp stack, the biggest you have ever seen. Even now, your eyes fixed on the fronds of seaweed that wave in the circulating water, beyond the curve of dirty glass, you find it impressive. You take a sip of the harsh, saline-scented rack from its magnetic vessel, secured to the bar. As you suck on the straw, your eyes following the shifting fronds, you hear someone clearing their throat beside you at the bar. Oh, look at this guy. Hypnotic, isn't it? The voice is low and rumbling. It comes from the large figure in the stool next to you. The fluorescent lights behind the bar glint in his eyes, shining up into his wide, rough face. Heard talk you're hiring. The figure turns to face you. You don't recognize him, but in the shifting light of Gaia's Gaia, that isn't surprising. From who? He shrugs and looks around the bar. Sleepers tend to draw attention. You follow his eyes around the bar and notice a couple of the patrons are eyeing you. Eugene, currently freelance. He turns on his stool and leans back a little. The effect is clearly meant to impress you on his size, and you have to admit it works. Served on a whole slate of crews on the Spindle. Cutters, mercs, extractors. He smiles and places a broad hand on his chest. Broad skill set. Good work ethic. Sense of humor. The full package. Any references? Raises an eyebrow. Running a crew or a corp? Ask anyone, they know Eugene is an honest worker. He taps twice above his heart with the two fingers. A sign. You don't know. I'll run anything out of this Far Spindle. I'm tough and quiet. You won't need to worry about me. He folds his arms across his chest. What kind of work are we talking about? Before you can answer, a voice echoes out from behind you. Eugene! You look over your shoulder for the source of the shout. Busy as ever, I see. Sorry, not having any reference with these voices as they enter is kind of tough. Vesna. A group of 3 spacers drift up behind you, one of them placing a heavy hand on your shoulder. She is fitted with matte metal optical implants, and you cannot see her eyes. The caustic light from the tank plays across her face. Too busy to keep in touch, she sighs. I really don't like you when I have to come and find you. Vesna? Jujin nods politely at her, not betraying any strong reaction. Do I look like I'm socializing? He shakes his head. This is a meeting. Oh, a meeting. Vesna squeezes your shoulder.
Is that what this is?
Yes, Vesna. We're talking about your delivery, in fact.
Eugen smiles widely.
My friend here is being very helpful.
He shoots you a knowing glance. That's right. Why am I helping strangers like this? Vesna turns to you with a raised eyebrow, but before you can speak, Eugen cuts in.
His sleeper has unique ability to extract data.
Eugen smiles at Vesna.
Exactly the kind of data you've been asking for. So if we can just get back to it,
Eugen gestures towards you.
then I can deliver what you need.
You know, Eugen, I'm pretty tired of this whole act.
She gestures dismissively at him.
But in the end, it doesn't matter.
She drops her hand from your shoulder to her belt. Your eyes follow it down, and you see a dark, boxy shape there.
A weapon? You either deliver by the deadline, or you don't. And when you don't,
She smiles tightly.
I'll be happy to take you through the consequences. Until then,
She shoots you a final glance.
chat to whoever the hell you want.
Vesna and the two spacers flanking her glide out of the bar, and Eugen watches them go with little emotion.
So,
Eugen's smile returns.
you're about to hire me.
What was that?
Vesna?
He shrugs.
She's just trying to rush me, that's all. Won't be working with her again.
He pauses, choosing his words carefully.
Of course. Can't talk about the particulars. You understand. Vesna just wants to scare you off. She likes to cause me trouble.
Eugen looks away out of the door of the bar.
Let's not let her.
He pauses in silence for a moment, still looking away. You try to get a read on him, but his face is blank. Only his glittering eyes hint at some rapid internal activity. He turns back to you and meets your eye, a sudden shift in his manner obvious.
If you need crew, you need to work. If you need to work, you need cryo. Is that right?
Doesn't stop for your answer.
Well, I can offer both. Hard work and a good contract with a good payout. You take me with you on this job of mine, we split the take.
He looks down, thinking.
Well, if you do, I'll consider signing on long term.
He smiles.
Think of that. No more recruiting.
What's the job?
Salvage.
He leans in.
I know of a wreck untouched by local crews which have recently turned up in the wash. It's just a little sunward from here, but its disabled transponder makes it invisible to anyone who doesn't know it's there. I had to squeeze the location of a contact, but I'll share it with you for a straight split. Take me and your crew and we'll claim it all. It's gonna be a good payout.
He winks.
A really good one.
I know, he definitely sounds more desperate than ambitious, despite the label here. What's the catch? Eugen frowns.
No catch.
He leans back and looks around the bar.
Happy to take the offer elsewhere. Just felt like you were the right captain for this one. We're ready to go whenever you like.
Eugen pauses.
It's a show of good faith. I'll also fly out with you on any job from the far spindle. I'm not leaving the station with you yet. Not till we get my job done first. After that, we can talk flying together. No need to rush into it.
He shakes your hand firmly, his palm rough and pitted, then turns back to his drink. You slip out of the bar, looking to see if Vesna's nearby. You don't spot her among the passing crews. You can't help but imagine eyes on you in the bar. You shake it off, having become familiar with the feeling of being observed. What matters is you have found yourself a crew member and a contract. Whether either will come good, however, remains to be seen. Cool! Look at all that, friends. I drank in the bar 4 times and I got myself a job. That's how this works. How you doing, Unity Star? Welcome, welcome. All right, I burned all my dice. I still have one more thing to finish over there. I don't think the ship's in good enough shape to even go on jobs right now, so I gotta wait until that happens. I think we have 2 more cycles. Yeah, 2 more cycles until the ship's in good enough shape for that. Until we're ship shape. Hey, Catalyst, how you doing? That roll was okay. We got a 6 though. That will finish off that one up top. So I might save it for something else. We'll see. You jerk, suddenly awake. A fragment is lodged in your mind, a shard of sound, of signal, a tone. It resonates like tinnitus, obviously internal, inescapable. You look down to see your hands blurred, your fingers dancing if they were typing. Settle them. Your fingers flap like caught birds. Take control. It takes all your focus to settle them. You force yourself back into them, a sensation like squeezing on a tight pair of gloves. You flex your hands a little to feel them, test them. What was that? You take a deep breath to calm yourself, but as you do, you're reminded that you don't need to breathe. It is a claustrophobic sensation that you cannot shake. You get up, push off the wall, pull on your clothes. Anything to escape the dreams that hover there at the back of your mind. Seraphin drifts in casually, heading to his bunk to grab something. You can't shake the strange sensation that he has just drifted into your mind. He shoots you a glance. I said, "Are you okay?" Gives you a concerned look. "You look terrible." "Not really." You mumble a response. "You need to talk to me, Sleeper." Seraphin gives you a look. He sighs. "I know something happened back when we were leaving Hexport." "What do you mean?" "I saw it, Sleeper. Saw something change in your eyes." He pauses, looking for the right way to explain. "They were cold, fixed. I've never seen that before." He looks away. "Back when we first met, I knew at once you were human. I knew because of your eyes. I never met a Sleeper before, but I knew immediately that you were no machine. It was obvious. But then, on the rig," he shivers. "I couldn't see that anymore. I don't know what happened." "What did it feel like?" He gives you a curious look. "Try to identify." Yeah! I was able to describe that feeling perfectly. You close your eyes and recall the moment. You remember Lane's voice, the rig hot and close, the numbness. And then you see it glittering in the non-space of your mind, thin and bright like spider's silk, a thread, a connection between your mind and something else. You open your eyes to Seraphin's expectant face. You try to think how to describe what you just felt, but words fail you.
It was very scary.
Wish that's how it worked. Hey. Let it be known that I indirectly got the current job I have with AFMAL by going to a bar and getting a drink at 2 a.m. at TwitchCon 2016. So before you say that it doesn't happen, I'm the confirmation bias. Still, you felt it. The invisible hand of a signal linked to your mind, and that thought makes you shiver. "We need to get you checked up. We need to know what's happening." Seraphin gives you a stubborn stare. "This isn't just about you, but where?" "Been asking around." Seraphin's face is set with determination now. "There's another station near this one, Flotsam. It's a mess, an accumulation of wrecks and docked ships, but it also houses some of the best artificiers in the wash. We should go there as soon as the rig is ready." "Okay. Thank you. Look, I have a feeling that Vane, the guy who's chasing us down, has the ability to remotely operate our body, and I have a feeling if we don't try to get that checked, that Seraphin is going to get choked out at some point. In fact, I thought that was going to happen in the previous bit, and it didn't, but I still feel like it could. So, yeah. "Look," he pauses. "I know I don't know what it's like to be a Sleeper. I understand that there are things you can't tell me, can't show me, but I do know how fear can keep you from doing what you need to do. I'm not going to nag you about it, but it needs to be done." He passes by you as he leaves the bunk, squeezing your shoulder as he does, leaving you to your thoughts. You finish getting dressed, feeling your body, its strangeness, even though you wish you didn't. At the very least, you think, you need to find someone who can stop you falling apart. Maybe Flotsam's not such a bad idea. You push the thought to your back of your mind, when there's a cycle ahead and the rig isn't ready. When it is, then you'll see. "Hey, it's Kadet!" "Sleeper!" Kadet drifts from the shadows outside Bliss's Bay, looking around nervously as she approaches. "Seems like I'm gonna need to call in that favor." Her face is pale and deathly serious. "Oh. Are you okay?" She doesn't seem to hear you, distracted by a group of spacers gliding noisily down the passage behind her. She waits until they pass. Let me get a little closer to my mic. I noticed I'm leaning my way in, and it's a bad idea.
Someone hit strip line. No idea where Kamal is. Bunch of goons tearing the place apart as we speak.
She screws up her face again in pain.
Even try to grab me. Those muscleheads are slow.
Who would attack a courier?
No idea. She shakes her head. Those were typical Reddit thugs. Could have been anyone with shits to burn. Remember that package I asked you for help with? The one that was bothering me?
Yeah.
I guess it's got something to do with it. The job was a bust, an express run all the way to the underhang. When I got there, no one was home.
She's whispering now, leaning closer.
The place was smashed up, like someone got there first. Should have dumped the package and run, but I brought it back like a good girl. Stashed it in a safe spot at strip line. Though the sender might come to recover it, and then when they didn't, well, I got curious, popped it open.
She shakes her head.
Stupid thing to do. Instead, it was a drive encrypted to hell and back. When I ran into you, well, I heard sleepers are good with data and with tech, so I thought you might be able to take a look at it.
She shrugs.
Now strip line's trash too. Here's the thing.
She glances around.
Back when I popped it open, I noticed the drive had a dispatch marker. Hexport.
Could be connected to.
Hexport getting atomized? Yeah, that's where I'm at too. This thing was sent out from there just before it got cooked.
She pauses.
With the kind of attention I've been getting this past couple of cycles.
She slips a hand terminal from her bag, taps a couple times, then holds it up to you. Kadet stares out at you from the screen, straight-faced and pale. Behind her picture, you see in block capitals, Spindlejack KD 754, in breach of Forest Spindle codes B12 and F34. Reward for information leading to capture. Considered dangerous.
Dickheads blasted on the transit channels. Every Spindlejack hauler and freight carrier is going to be watching for me.
She pulls back the hand terminal angrily, stuffing it away in her bag. Something's going on. Anyone who can help? She looks away.
Spindlejacks don't make friends easily. And now the couriers I know are looking to turn me in for a payout.
She snaps her head to the side, her eyes flashing with anger.
Why do you think I'm here? It's time for that favor, sleeper.
She meets your eye.
My connections are burned. Hell, my whole career's gone. I need to fight back. If I walk away, there's nothing to walk away to.
She softens a little.
I need your help.
What can I...
What if I turn you in?
What can I do?
I need you to get the drive.
She takes a breath.
If they want it that much, then I can use it to buy my way out of the shit show. I tucked it away somewhere safe, so my guess is they haven't gotten it yet. You just slip in, I give you the location, and you pull the thing out.
She folds her arms.
Should be simple.
So why don't you do it?
They're gonna be watching for me, as is everyone on the transit tunnels. I wouldn't make it past the core. Look, this thing turns out to be worth something, you'll get your due. All I want is my life back. The panel's in the workshop. The drive is in the workshop. There's a loose panel behind the air bike rack.
She leans in.
It's taped to the back of the fuse box inside. I've got to keep heading down Spindle to the overhang, past the end of the transit tunnels. No one will rat me out there.
She glances around.
I'll come find you when it's done. I still got some network access. I'll know when you go in.
She winks, offering no further explanation.
My bike's locked up nearby. I'm gonna hop.
She pauses.
Do me this favor, then we're clear.
Stay safe.
Do my best, sleeper.
She gives you a mock salute. She slips back into the shadows, and a few moments later, you hear the percussive pulse of an air bike accelerating away. You know, at least, what it's like to be on the run, to flee your life. And in that, you feel an empathy, a connection with Kadet. But from every other angle, this thing looks like bad news. The kind of sensible person would steer well clear from. And perhaps you would steer well clear, if it wasn't for one detail that has stuck in your mind. That drive is from Hexport. Is that all that enough to send you down to Stripline in search of that drive? Only time will tell. Cool! Great! We're screwed! All right, I'm gonna burn a 3 on rerouting the flow and see if we can get just one more point in saving Springtide here. Come on! One more! Come on! Oh.
Oh, that was murderous. Oh, that was so bad.
Let's buy some kelp cakes.
I'm doing an interface check. I know. I have 0 points in interface, but I also have 0 points in endure.
It does not have a restart day option. This is not that kind of game. Fine. 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 I'm burning my 6 on this. I hope you're happy. No, this game, just like Dungeons and Dragons, is you roll with the punches. You deal with what you have to deal with. Burned a whole goddamn cycle on that. You watch from the docking bay's viewing window as the crumpled, vast hull of the Springtide is finally welded shut by a score of bright torches flickering against its side.
Everywhere I look, I see a crisis.
The voice comes from beside you. You turn to see a man floating there watching the repair work. You don't recognize him.
I saw you out there, helping the crew.
He turns to you with a serious look. They needed it.
You aren't wrong.
He pauses, watching you carefully.
I haven't seen you on the spindle before. What if I may ask, is your business here?
Running a crew? He nods.
I see. Springtide is my ship.
Thank you, the fall, by the way. His face remains impassive.
At least, I am her captain. I do not own her. The Lotic Syndicate, my employer, was the one who put her in his service.
Glad to meet you. He bows his head gently.
You have my thanks for assisting the repairs. We were caught by some autonomous Conway munitions.
He looks out at his ship.
The Wellspring Run is getting more dangerous every cycle. And after Hexport,
he pauses.
I do not expect things to improve.
You both quiet for a moment, the loss of the station still inspiring silence in anyone who mentions it.
Tell me,
Malik meets your eye.
As a sleeper, do you feel you have advantages over others, or does your particular condition provide only weaknesses?
There are many downsides. He nods.
Of course, but you're stronger, hardier, more capable than most humans.
He gestures towards Springtide.
Your work on my ship only evidences your abilities. You far outperformed even my own crew.
He looks to you, angling his head in deference.
In conditions that are usually deadly.
Oh, trust me, I know. I tried. It didn't go so good. Probably do save scum to get ideal outcomes. But that's fine. But if you want that, you can just read a book. Does that make sense? Like, if you play games only to have good outcomes in those games, especially with stories like this, you can just watch a movie or read a book, and that way you'll know that you'll get the good outcome by the end. Here, the losses are there to then offset the victories, so that the victories feel that much more victorious. Does that make sense? Marissa, you had a process, though. You had a system. You had a system in place. And if we played Dungeons and Dragons with people like we actually might coming up here in a couple of weeks, you wouldn't be like, I rolled that bad, let me re-roll again. If that makes sense. It's part of the roleplay experience.
Sadly, despite even your great work, our losses have been great. And the administration at the Far Spindle are not happy. We are to be impounded here until a Lotic Syndicate fulfills the agreed water freight.
He frowns at the crumpled-looking ship.
This war continues to pressure the belt.
What will you do?
This is where you are needed, Sleeper.
Malik folds his arms.
My crew tells me you have a ship. You have workers. This is what I need. As we fled from the Conway attack, our navigator registered something of great interest. A water-rich asteroid. What I believe is previously unknown to the syndicates.
He comes a little closer.
For now, I've sworn him to secrecy, as I must you. But if this asteroid could be surveyed, its value confirmed, it would more than make up for the shortfall of the spring tide.
He pauses thoughtfully.
Let him continue.
I want you to survey the asteroid for me. It is a simple enough job, but its location so close to the edge of the wash is problematic. However, you have shown yourself to be very competent. If you're careful, there is no reason you should have problems with Conway, or any other hostile party for that matter.
Hostile party?
Alec shrugs. The wash is where the orbits of the inner system and starboard belt conspire to bring vessels, objects, and all kinds of wanderers together. It is a territory of opportunists. I will, of course, reimburse you with a portion of the fee Far Spindle administration are withholding from me. 250 cryo is my offer.
How will your employer feel about that?
The Lartic Syndicate only cares that its water is delivered and its fees paid. I am free to make sure this happens in a timely and efficient manner as I see fit.
Malik passes you a thumbnail drive.
Here are the details on the tests I need you to run for the survey. A sample core of ice from deep within the asteroid should give you enough material to work with.
You notice a member of the Springtide's crew waiting quietly at a distance, and Malik nods to them discreetly.
This is a delicate matter, Sleeper. Survey the rock, and on your return, broadcast the results to my personal terminal. The frequency is in that data.
He pauses, meeting your eye.
The results go to me, only to me. And once the matter is resolved, you will be paid. But I'm needed.
He nods to the crew member.
But I expect you have all you need.
He pauses.
I've enjoyed watching your work, Sleeper. Impress me again.
And with that, he bows a little and drifts away to meet his crew member. After watching him go, you turn back to the Springtide, still impressive despite being scarred with curls of ice and shiny with fresh welds. You imagine any captain of a ship like that has been through a lot to get where they are. That makes them a valuable ally, or a dangerous adversary, depending on where you are. You hope with Malik, you can find your way to being the former. I guess, and I get it, especially as somebody whose time is also precious to him, that it sucks to spend time and feel like you're burning it, right? I 100% get that. But the failure is a part of why I enjoy, roguelikes as much as I do. I learn so much from failing, so much more from failing than I do from succeeding. And I, friends, have failed a lot in my life. But failure is the only way you gain that experience to learn what to do correctly. And roguelikes especially allow you to, or are expecting you to fail. You are expecting to fail. But to learn from those mistakes and build off of those each time to improve your stance and ability. In this game, even from just that right there, those failures of that bad streak of rolls was bad, but the game's systems are balanced enough such that won't tank this run suddenly, right? Or it will make, at the very worst, it will make me have to make an interesting decision about who I support. And that sort of emergent narrative gameplay pulls me in more than just a simple story would. I'm not saying that that save scumming is wrong, just that I find it very interesting to have to still work your way forward from there. Because I still got it. I still got to talk to the guy with the Springtide. I just realized, by the way, this is just a massive ship. I thought this was like a part of the station. This is just one giant ship that's leaking all that water into space. Interesting. Well, we got some work to do now. We've got, two different contracts? Neither of which we can do yet because we're still waiting for, I guess, there we go. Bump odd jobs back to cryo because we're full up on, we're not actually full up on fuel anymore. Interesting. Our fuel has adjusted now to being out of 10.
And it's that way because we managed to connect our reserve tank. That's what's happening there. Interesting. Okay. We need to buy some more fuel then. There we go. All full up. Does the clock mean Lane is coming in 3 days? I think it really means that we have 3 days until something happens. We don't know what it is. We have no idea. Just, it says for now you are safe. The other one was like, Lane's gonna catch up with you by the end of this clock. This is kind of a don't think about it right now clock, if that makes sense. And it's something I have to remind myself because Marissa was referencing Disco Elysium when she said she was feeling called out. There's some cool things that happen in Disco Elysium that you only see if you fail a check, which I find to be very fascinating. That that like those checks, that certain checks like allow you to do very specific things if you fail that you wouldn't be able to do if you succeeded. I find that very interesting that the game is set up in such a way. And I think it is also an evolving style of gameplay that I want to see more of, because we are so drilled into our brains that success means you got the best outcome and failure means you got the worst outcome and therefore you are a failure and therefore bad. While where, you know, not succeeding all the time might just mean you have to take a more circuitous path to get to where you need to be. But that circuitous path can inform you a lot more than you might expect. As you drift lazily down to the ship's mess, you hear raised voices. You steel yourself for a moment at the entrance, then slip inside. Seraphin sits hooked into his usual stool, his slate glowing beside him. He is shaking his head as you enter. Bliss, meanwhile, is floating freely and gesticulating sharply as they explain something important. I don't see why not.
Bliss chops at the air.
It's not like you have an alternative. We can get the cryo. It'll take time, but we can get it. That was the deal.
Seraphin speaks calmly, trying to placate Bliss.
Sleeper!
Bliss spots you entering and they turn to Seraphin.
Let's see what Sleeper thinks about it.
What? They both fall silent for a moment. Seraphin sighs.
The rig's ready, Sleeper.
Bliss gestures around the mess.
I fixed it. Hell, I've improved it. She's purring thanks to me. Now, wouldn't you say, having done such an incredible job, I deserve to be paid properly for my work?
A calculated look crosses their face.
A refit and a retune like this would typically cost my clients hundreds of cryo, even if I was feeling charitable.
Seraphin sighs loudly. He knows where this is going.
See, I could make you pay, but maybe you could even scrape the cryo up. But not without taking a contract to taking the ship off the station, leaving me in the lurch.
We wouldn't do that. Seraphin starts, but Bliss holds up a hand to shush him.
So I have a proposition, one that clears the debt completely.
They pause.
I will turn the open sign on this little bay of mine and join up with you. You keep me in work, give me my split, and give me transit to wherever you're headed. I'll even keep this rig of yours working for free.
They shrug.
What could be better than that?
Us paying and being on our way, with no hangers on. Seraphin folds his arms and looks at you.
Tell him, Sleeper.
We could use the help. I don't know why you think we couldn't.
Bliss grins at Seraphin. See, Sleeper gets it. You can use my help. I'm an excellent engineer, a tidy shipmate, and a half-decent chef. I'm done with Far Spindle. I'm done taking not enough jobs for not enough cryo on a station where I know nobody.
They pause, satisfied.
You're welcome.
Seraphin holds up his hands.
Look, we appreciate it, but we are on the run. Bliss, trust me, you are better off here.
He gives them a serious look.
Even telling you this could put you in danger.
I know. We're like some like gay couple where like I keep bringing in strays, and the butch Seraphin's like a little upset about it, but also kind of secretly loves it. Bliss pauses, then they start laughing.
On the run.
They shake their heads, smiling.
You expect to be scared off by that goofy shit?
It's true. Bliss just shrugs.
The system is at war. The belt is spiraling into crisis. Everyone's got something. I know you were at Hexport.
Seraphin looks at the open mouth, searching for a retort.
What happened there? Who's to say it won't happen here? I'm not sitting around watching this all play out any longer.
They take a deep breath.
Something has to give.
Bliss turns to Seraphin.
Look, you've done your due diligence or whatever. You are on the run. I've been warned. I accept the risks. That's it. At the end of the day, your ship is clamped into my bay. So unless you know my encryption protocols, there's not much left to discuss.
Seraphin shakes his head, a small smile crossing his face.
They got us there.
He looks at you and then at Bliss.
Looks like we gained a crewmate.
He unhooks from his stool.
But I'm moving to the engine room.
He drifts off towards the bunks to gather his things. You and Bliss exchange a nervous look.
Sleeper?
Welcome aboard! Bliss smiles and gives you a half-hearted mock salute. You leave Bliss in the galley and head to the cockpit. The rig is ready to fly again, but the question is, where to take her next? Seraphin, was I wrong, miss? Was I wrong? Seraphin mentioned Flotsam, a short starward journey from here, is a busy station where you might find an artificier to help diagnose your glitches and errors. Sunward, meanwhile, is the Hellion Gate, an abandoned and uninhabited megastructure left over from the Solheim days. Maybe good for salvage, but not an easy place to survive. And beyond that, well, as they say, the belt is wide. At least you now have a functioning ship. You have unlocked the Belt Map. Go to the map and press the Belt button to travel the other hubs and discover new parts of the Starward Belt. I don't know, Zeamice, is the long and short of it. It seems that there is a war out there in the world, and it is causing violence and sort of rugged independence of these various stations as a result, trying to survive the bitterness of the world outside. I think the first game talked about it a bit, but I don't remember well enough to necessarily describe it. But I'm just kind of rolling with the context clues we've been given so far. A corporate war! I think there was like a whole bit, in fact, in the first game where like you could uncover a plot that's happening on the Eye, I think was the name of the station that you're on, where they were like building or like, at least like unscrapping some like various murder drones that they were going to send out to engage in the war effort. Obviously, you weren't a fan. Like the player wasn't a fan and tried to stop all that. Okay, let's see if we can help out with the strip line problem, and then we'll go fly out to something else. Here we go. Oh yeah, we got ourselves some good stuff here, friends. We are good at engineering. That's the dangerous one. So our new friend Kadet wants us to grab a package from this from whatever this is. So we're gonna go ahead and get that working. From her courier company, who apparently got attacked by a bunch of street thugs. So we're gonna crack our way in here and see what's going on. Not taking chances this time. I'm not taking chances. I'm just burning the 3/6s. We're gonna get in here. There we go. I got the drive. You slide the loose panel away from the wall, letting it float there beside the air bike rack. Behind it, in the dark, you see the blinking lights of the fuse box. A noise nearby draws your attention for a moment. The scrape of sliding door, maybe? Or just some old system cycling in the walls. It took long enough to gain access to the Stripline Express bike garage, and longer still to find a safe route to the air bike racks. But you're almost there. You have seen and heard the hired muscles searching and guarding this place, but have been lucky enough not to come face to face with them. Yet. You turn back to the darkness behind the panel. If what Kadet said is right, the drive is taped to the back of the fuse box in front of you. Oh boy. I'm not good at engaging. I have to intuit it. You reach through and around slowly, carefully, and your hand settles on something cold and metallic in the dark. It is taped firmly to the box. You pull at it, but it doesn't budge. A quiet rattle echoes from the dispatch office next door, and you freeze for a second. Seems Kadet was a little too enthusiastic with the tape. Come on, give me some good, yeah! You close your eyes and feel for the seams of the tape. You peel it back swiftly and quietly, piece by piece, and the drive spins into your hand. Time to move. Hey, Susanna, how you doing? You slip the drive inside your coat and kick away from the wall, gliding back towards the maintenance corridor you entered from. You listen carefully as you do. You hear nothing but a satisfying silence. The cool darkness of the maintenance corridor is comforting as you tuck yourself inside and start carefully making your way to the back of the strip line. You shift through the maze of passages that brought you here, their doglegs and dead ends now familiar. Eventually, you spot a thin slit of light ahead, marking the loose panel you levered open to gain entrance. You take a deep breath. Almost there. As you reach for the gap, you freeze. Voices rumble from beyond, and peering through, you see two figures in dark clothes searching the chaotic bay behind the strip line. Your eyes are drawn to the dark boxy weapon one holds at their side. Shit, you hiss silently to yourself, your eyes searching for a path through. Wait for an opening. Come on, come on, come on. Woo! Okay, that's neutral. That's neutral. You wait, silent and still, as the figures search. They split and drift across the bay. You take the chance, sliding open the panel and slipping behind the scrapped boxes at the edge of the room. You work your way around until you can't get any further. You kick off hard, making a dash for the far side of the bay and the public passage beyond. There's a hiss and the guttural chatter of a pressure valve as an air bike pulls up beside you in the passage. Kadet leans over and grabs the collar of your coat. Hop on! In a moment, you're on the back of the air bike, clutching the strap of Kadet's bag as she guns it down the passage, the air resistance almost ripping you from the thin seat. You lean against her back and let out a sigh, the drive pressing into your ribs beneath your jacket. You did it. We got it! Hey, Sierra, no worries. Hope you're doing well. And I'm doing well, Susanna. Thank you for asking.
Still alive back there?
Kadet's voice brings you back from the hypnotic rhythm of the tunnel lights rushing past the air bike. She slows the bike with a rapid series of hisses, and you realize she's brought you back to the passage outside Bliss's Bay. You try to understand the route she took, a long loop through the branching transit tunnels of the station, but give up. Hey, Miss Esme, it has been a minute. How you doing? Hope all is well. Hope you're doing great.
You can let go now.
She straightens up and you unhook your fingers from her bag strap, separating yourself from her back. You push off the bike gently and float in the passage beside her.
You okay? Looked pretty rough back there.
She smiles.
Appreciate you putting it all on the line for me.
Who were those guys?
Your guess is as good as mine.
She shrugs.
Didn't look like anyone nice, though. I wouldn't sweat it.
She smiles.
Go on, then. Let's see the drive.
You fish out the drive out of your pocket and hand it over.
That's the one.
She squints at it.
Should have chucked it when I had the chance.
You get your first good look at it, and there's not much to see. A small lump of solid-state memory with a few markers on the case. You spot a yellow hex among them. Hexport. We should hang around.
Damn right.
She slides her bag around her shoulder to the front and slots the drive neatly into a pocket.
I know someone in the scatter yards who can crack anything. She's my first port of call to crack this thing open.
She stretches her shoulders.
I should make myself scarce from the spindle anyway, before those dickheads catch up with me.
Come with us.
Appreciate the offer, but I think it's best if we go our separate ways for now. 2 targets are harder to track than 1.
She cycles the pressure valve on the bike impatiently. Kadet leans away from the bike, squinting out of the viewing window at your ship behind.
That yours?
She doesn't wait for an answer.
Not mistaken, that old thing's gonna struggle to reach the scatter yards. Unless you've added a Hasnav suite. Yeah, belt between here and scatter yards is drowning in debris. Worse since Hexport. You'll need hazard navigation to make this crossing safely. Logic Syndicate created the tech to help their tankers across the belt. Common knowledge.
Cadet nods at your ship.
Maybe if you head up to Wellspring and barter or steal a suite.
She adds casually.
Here.
Cadet unties a bag lashed to her bike frame and holds it out to you.
Not enough here for a refit, but maybe you'll find some use for him.
You take the bag, and something clinks inside it as you do. You open it to see a couple of engine components.
Was gonna use them to boost her.
She taps the frame of the air bike.
But you deserve them.
She meets your eye, then looks away.
Not like I'll be doing any runs for a while anyway.
Thanks. Still can't find the blasted Pierce cat plush, but you found the sheep one. Hey, that's the more rare one, technically.
It's nothing. Like I said, you deserve them.
She flexes her fingers on the bike's handles, eager to be away. Cadet's air bike stutters and purrs, trembling in the air like an arrow ready to be loosed.
See you around.
She winks and guns the throttle, zipping off down the passage with a pulse of air that ripples through your clothes. You stare at her as she goes, the bag of components still hanging from your hand. You realize as you look down the passage that you never asked how Kadet plans to get to the scatter yards. That question, like a score of others, will have to wait until you run into her next. Although you have a feeling she'll find a way to slip away before you can ask them next time, too. You head back towards your ship to stow the components, subtly wondering if you could justify buying an air bike to Seraphim as you do so. They do look cool. Not gonna lie. They look pretty cool. All right, I'm going to burn some of my points here on my push so that my affected dice get increased by an additional point. So now every time I pushed on a mission, I will get +3 to my lowest dice, which is pretty cool. I like that idea. And then if I roll a positive outcome on that, I could get myself some good stuff. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm excited. I think I'm going to burn my remaining 3s on the food place down here. See if I can get some points towards impressing Nimba. There we go. Fully healed. You get into a good flow, taking care to follow Nimba's barked orders, and at the end of your shift, tired and satisfied, you eat your fill.
And now that I'm grown, I eat 5 dozen eggs. Ah! He came back to life!
Thank you much for the 200 bits, Faj. Appreciate all that cryo you found under the couch. Yeah, I'm going to throw this in, actually. So those are engine components specifically. Oh, we can upgrade. Oh, boy. Wow, this game's going to open up, guys. At first, I kind of thought maybe like this is like a 3-act play where like, oh, once we got past Hexport, then we'll do this, and then we'll go somewhere else. This is going to go for a little bit because they just gave us the ability to upgrade our ship further so we have more stuff with us as we travel to different places. This is pretty cool. I like it. Oh, +3 cryo. Shifts are paid by scrap weight, and at the end of this one, you have little to show for your efforts apart from a feeling of total exhaustion. That's okay. That's all right. It's time to go on a trip, I think. Eugen's tip-off versus Malik's ice-rich asteroid. You'll notice one of them has guaranteed payment. The other one doesn't. I think I'm going to go for the one where we get for sure paid first. I haven't trusted quite Eugen yet. I'm going to take these 2 with me. Which is great. Both of their specializations are different from one another. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's hang out with Eugen a little bit. We'll see if that improves our kind of feelings at all. Okay, so we went to this. We were sent to this water-rich asteroid with hopes to survey it well enough to understand where all the water is, or how much value this thing has, and then report back to Malik about it. And so that's what we're doing. The asteroid looms large in the cockpit's glass. Light glints off the sheets of surface ice, the same glint that we must have caught Malik's attention when he was fleeing the Conway countermeasures that damaged the springtide. There's been no sign of Conway drones or mines, but that hasn't stopped Seraphin being cautious in his approach. You have to admit, you found yourself searching the black void of space for a telltale blinking red beacon, too. We actually encountered one of these Conway drones in the previous stream. They are just murder drones that are sent out in space to murder. So thank you, Conway Corp, for that. We're close enough to jump down to the surface. Seraphin locks down the engines. I don't see anything on the scope, but I'll keep her warm just in case. Thanks. He nods without looking up from the controls.
I say we core the snowball fast. Eugen shrugs. Less time we're out here, the less likely we are to run anything Conway left behind.
He smiles.
Simple.
Sure, Seraphin cuts in. But fast means messy, and messy means more damage to the ice. We don't need to crack the shelf and lose half the water we came up to survey.
Who said anything about messy?
Eugen stretches, unclipping from his seat.
Fast and clean.
He winks at you.
Easy.
You unclip from your seat and kick off towards the airlock. The scale of the asteroid is troubling, but Seraphin assured you the journey here that surveying it would be easy enough. Just take a sample from the deep ice for testing. The problem, he said, is getting down that deep. You'll have to cut away at the ice, dig yourself a hole, and doing so will create fractures in the shelf. The asteroid may be big, but it is held together with only a weak gravitational force. The more the ice is cracked away, the less there is for the far spindle to harvest, something you doubt Malik would be happy about. You push the worry to the back of your mind and get suited up. Something on your mind? Bliss drifts up beside you and pulls the suit from the rack. Just hope we don't mess up. Me too. They shrug.
I don't want to jinx it, but it seems simple enough. Can't say rock, or in this case, ice cutting is my usual strength. But it's got to be simpler than slicing a hull without touching any of the internals.
Bliss zips up their suit.
We'll be fine.
You ate so much, it just looks like blinking.
Bliss's reassurance that they don't have any experience with the job you're about to do doesn't exactly calm your worries, but their nonchalant attitude helps. Especially when you consider the volume of ice you're about to start cutting into. Cheer up!
Bliss punches you on the arm as you get into the airlock.
Might never happen.
The lock cycles and you find yourself staring out at the glinting surface of the asteroid.
1 second, sleeper.
Seraphine's voice comes from over the comms.
I'm seeing something here. Some kind of man-made shaft on the far side of the asteroid.
Interesting.
Eugen has stood beside you on the airlock, but in this vacuum, you can only hear him through the comms link.
Crews sometimes stash goodies out on rocks like this. Let's go take a look.
He pats you on the shoulder.
Just hold up.
Seraphine's voice cuts through.
The survey is our first priority, and the integrity of the water ice. Hunting for buried treasure comes dead last on the to-do list.
You can almost hear his eyes roll through the comms link.
Don't get distracted.
You squint at the rock and spot a dark recess just over the curve of the asteroid. That'll be the distraction then. You refocus on the ice sheet. Time to get started. Okay. All right.
All right.
So we're trying not to crack the ice too much. Oh my god, it's gonna take so long. Oh my god, it's gonna take so long. And the real problem is that neither of my two companions are any good at this stat. So it's gonna have to be mostly to me on the slicing away the ice. By working on existing fractures, the ice sheet can be broken away with little damage to its integrity. And I'm just gonna keep doing that. There we go. There we go. And I'm going to push it. I gave myself a little bit of stress by pushing it, and one of my 2s then turned into a 5, which I'm now putting in here for a 6. And I lost that stress again. Ain't that just delish? All right. So neither of them are very useful at that bit, so we can multitask here. Why don't you explore the cracks here a little bit, Bliss? There you go. I don't know if I trust Eugen on that. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, 4 on wrist. No. He's the blue color. That means if I were to play him there, he would lose 2 points trying to do it. He's also bad at this, and he's also bad at this. Why did I bring you? Oh, it's bad out here, friends. Well done. He's good at the other check on the crack. Yeah, but but it's the hard one. But it's the hard one. Oh wait, no. He's the blue. Oh. Sure. Yay! All right, I'm not throwing down any of these 2s. I'm not throwing any of these. Is it bad to be simping over? I mean, you do you. Just as long as you enjoy them as the characters themselves, right? You know. Ultimately, they're just characters, and fictional characters. You can feel whatever you feel about them. That's okay. All right, I'm going back to the ship. We're heading back. We're not, and that is to say, we're not like dying. I'm just gonna end my cycle. burn another day. I don't know what's happening back at the main area. I used to roll high and favor good outcomes. So far, it's been very kind to me, I think. But I think it's built as such, you know what I mean? Sorry, my parents are sending stuff. They're out in Costa Rica right now. Oh no, Eugen! Eugen, why? For all I know, there might be math happening on the backside of this that kind of helps make the game feel quote unquote more fair. Because our brains are broken and we don't read probability correctly, if that makes sense. Most human beings intuitively believe that any chance of success above 70% means it's virtually guaranteed, and anything below 50% is virtually impossible. And so a lot of games will actually cheat their probability systems to bring it more in line with players' expectations, a fact of which I find to be absolutely fascinating. I'll tell you what, let's burn the 5 on this because that'll get us up to 6, and that is A-okay in my book. We're going to push it again. Push, release, hit. Hey, look at us go. Oh, excuse me.